Hello and welcome to another episode of Mono Story. Have you ever read or watched something and thought this is going to be something big in the future, something that will be watched by lots of people? Well, that is the case what we are going to be talking about today.魔男のイチ, or in English they say Ichi the Witch. A story that I thought originally was going to be very boring, but after reading up to date to the latest chapter, and I can now say this will be a very interesting manga and potential anime series in the future. But what is Ichi the Witch? Ichi the Witch starts off with exploring what the world is. A magical world that contains these things called magics, and in order to obtain them, you must complete certain trials to obtain these magics, such as fire or ice. Now the story starts with there being a figure known as King Uroro, and he seems to be this bird-like creature who is in control of this thing called King Magic, and he has existed for 1,000 years. And we are also introduced to our main witch, Descaris, who is fighting with King Uroro in order to obtain his magic and use that magic in the future. That being said, King Uroro mentions that there have been thousands of witches who have tried to obtain his magic and have always failed. This is where our main protagonist, Ichi the Witch, shows up. He has been living in the mountains for many years, since the age of 6, and he has honed and trained his abilities in order to survive in the wilderness. And he walks into the situation of them two fighting. King Uroro is surprised and tries to attack him, but he is caught in one of his traps, and then Ichi runs up and attacks his core, capturing what seems to be his magic, and he becomes a witch, being now known as Ichi the Witch. And the story takes off from there. I was very skeptical at the start of this story. It felt a bit slow starting, and there wasn't very much happening. We had a few occasions where they talked about the world, they showed a bit of action, but it was very minimal. There was even a part early on where we had an action scene, and it felt more like a slice of life comic relief scene, and I was like, is this really going to be a good manga? Like, really? I mean, all you do is just one attack, and then Ichi the Witch wins the fight and destroys the enemy, making that enemy become a magic, and then the people are saved in the village as an example of a plot storyline. I'm like, this seems pretty boring. And then we get the realization of when they reveal Ichi the Witch to all of the other witches. And there's this part of an arc where we now have a fight between Ichi the Witch and this real strong witch for this new magic that they want to acquire. And so we get this scene where there's this new character, the main villain of the story, that shows up. And let me tell you, once I read this main villain and I found what was going on, I had to keep reading. I could not stop reading. So it happens around chapter 20. And my gosh, up to chapter 20, you are set. And right now, I've read up now to about chapter 34, which has been released. My gosh, wow. This story is going to be getting an anime. There is no way this story will not be getting an anime. After what I read, it was literal cinema. I know I might be saying a bit too much early on, but no, this is no joke. This is a legitimate series that should be taken seriously. It feels to me like fairy tale done right. Okay, there is no, oh, my friend's here, I'm gonna win with my friend's help. No, it's like pure awesomeness, and it just gets better. Like in this next arc that I'm reading right now, there's like this god that's helping the village, and he's a bad god, and he done all this stuff to these people, and they don't even know about it, and the fights that are going on are crazy. I mean, it is a shonen manga, so there will be lots of fights, but wow, it's just good. Now, in terms of the paneling and the way the art looks, beautiful, just stunning. I'm telling you, it's a very easy read. Once you get to about chapter 16 to 20, I'd recommend at least chapter 20. If you can make it up to there, then you will be fine. I think you will enjoy it. If you can't, then you might enjoy early on, but it's a very slow build. But once it hits that 20th chapter, around 19 or 20th, where you get this anti-world magic, this hate for the world magic sort of stuff, bam, does it hit you. That character, that story, I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but let me tell you, once you read that part of the story, you are going to be hooked. The only issue I have with the story, and I hope they flesh it out further, is what do men in the story generally do if they are not able to use magic? Can they still do other powers? Like, we recently got a situation where we saw another man use an ability, but that was a very rare. If they're not a magic wielder who makes the trial, then they are not able to, it seems, use magic as a man. So I'd like that to be further explored in the future of the story as to why this has happened. But other than that, I think the story is still going very strong. In the end, I think that Ichi the Witch is a very good story. If you haven't already started reading it, I would highly recommend you do. And you get up to, as I said, in my opinion, you get to chapter 20. If you can make it up to at least 16 and you still like it, try get through that from there. If you get to 20, you'll be set. There's no way you're not gonna, if you can't like it past 20, you're not gonna like the series. It's a done thing. But that's the way I think about Ichi the Witch. It's a very good series with a slow start, and it can only, I think, get better from here. However, that is my take, and I think that is all I have to say for today. If you haven't already liked, subscribed, and pressed the bell button, please do so, and I will see you on another Mono Story.